AJ, how does it feel to be the father of a state champ?
Well, I already was that. It's my son's second one.
The father of a two-time state champ.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. It's an awesome thing for my kids, my son, all the kids that he played with for the last 4 or 5 years. They won when he was in 8th grade. He was basically a cheerleader on that team. And then this year got to play, caught almost every inning of every game. That's him right here. After they beat Trinity Christian, a top 10 team in the country, they pretty much whooped their ass. And that's me and him afterwards. Pretty cool moment for me. I started my career there in Fort Myers with the Twins. I got to watch my son end his high school career on the same fields that I started on. So pretty awesome moment for me. Pretty awesome moment, especially for the kids, man. The kids, they put in a lot of work. They got smashed last year there. And they came back this year and beat 2 really good teams. And the team they played yesterday was supposed to be the best team in the state. Well, TFA proved who the best team in the state is.
Damn, mic drop. Love that. They were on the field, the Twins field in Fort Myers, right? The main field there?
In Hammond Stadium, cool. Yeah. I mean, they're called the Mighty Muscles now. I played there in 1997 when they were the Miracle.
Not the Miracle?
I also got to – it was also cool. My Gulf Coast League, when it was called the Gulf Coast League before Major League Baseball decided to get rid of all the minor leagues, and manager came, Jose Marzan, who is now in a wheelchair because I think he has MS. I'm pretty sure he has MS. But he came to the game yesterday, so it was pretty awesome. I haven't seen him in a long time, so it was great to catch up with him. And, listen, minor league managers, minor league coaches, they don't get a lot of credit. Kratz will tell you, but this guy, man, I was 17 years old, living on my own. He was our manager. He put up with a lot of crap from a bunch of high school buttholes that we were. But you know what? He rolled with it, and he's still a scout for the Twins. He does a lot of computer scouting for the Twins, lives in Fort Myers, and he came to the game yesterday, so it was great to see him, catch up with him. And, it's always cool when you see people that help shape your career, and I thank them profusely for being around, helping me be a man, and teaching me how to play professional baseball.
That's cool. That's probably also why they switched the name from Miracle to Muscles, Kratz. They're like, these high school buttholes, they're no miracles.
It was Fort Misery down there. It got hot in the Golf Roast League. There was a reason. It felt like Fort Myers was where the sun rose. Like it felt like it was just hotter there. Something about it. I have no idea why, but hoo-wee.
It's on the water too, though.
It is.
That sometimes eases you a little bit with the heat, but I guess not there.
Not where those stadiums are. Those stadiums are not on the water. They are far from the water.
That's true. Fort Myers is a big city.
They are far, far from the water. So they just know that they are not on the water.
There's no breeze.
It was hot. It was hot the last 2 days. I mean, they played at 1 and noon. So, I mean, it was hot. It was hot.
Florida Summers, get ready, Tampa Bay Rays. I know they're on the road a lot this summer.
Still, they played yesterday. We were driving home. We were driving home yesterday, and they were in like the 6th inning. And it was like 99 on my car thermometer, and they're out there playing in Tampa. It's awful. It's awful.
We can ask Chandler Rome about it later in the show. He'll join us as he's covering that Astros Rays series. All right, let's charge.
Charging the mound.
Streakers today. Let's hit some streakers. AJ, let's start with the San Diego Padres. They've lost 5 in a row. And this was an opportunity for them over the past week to vault ahead of the Dodgers, right, who have been more mediocre this month. I know they just, won a series against the Diamondbacks, which is great. But the Padres aren't just losing. They're getting smacked. The Mariners swept them up, and it was a very lopsided overall score in that series. And then yesterday, they get blanked 14-0 to the Blue Jays. They've got a day game today, but anything we should be aware of with this team? If you look at the team stats since they had the hot start, pretty much everything is down. Of course, power and most of the offensive stats. They're running much less, too. Remember, we were like, hey, this team's going to run a lot. They have significantly slowed down their action on the base paths.
I don't think there's anything to worry about. Every team goes like this, right? The Dodgers lost how many? They lost how many in a row earlier? No one was panicked about them. So I think it's just one of those ruts where you go up and down, and they've had a tough 5 games, but Pirates will probably win 15-0 today. Who knows? Who do they play? Oh, they play the Blue Jays. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's just a rough 5 games for them. It's just because they're in the division they're in, they can't really afford to lose this many games in a row because the other teams are so good. But the other teams aren't playing great either, so they're fine. They're fine.
Yeah, as I say, they haven't lost much ground. Dodgers haven't been winning every game. The only reason that 5-game skid is concerning for the Padres is because I don't think there's a lot of leeway in this division. You can't look up and go, it's okay. We're 5.5, 6 out at some point in the season. Oh yeah, we can make that up on the Dodgers. Like, you have to keep pace. And this was a time when the Dodgers had lost 4 straight at home. They're sitting there like whatever that was, historic, like 7 years. You just have to keep pace with your division. So fortunately for them, everybody's faltering a little bit. They're still a really good team, but you can't fall back too much.
The skid kind of started when they torched the Rockies with, I think, 35 runs over a 2-day span. And then they faced major league clubs that have double-digit wins as we're getting close to June. So this team's in one of those runners in scoring position ruts too, AJ, which obviously plays a big factor on a game-by-game basis. Exactly. Yeah, it's a wave. So they went 0 for 8 in that loss yesterday to the Blue Jays. That means the skid is 0 for 33. 33 ABs hitless with runners in scoring position is probably only going to happen once in a season.
Well, yeah, and then they go 7 for 7 today and tomorrow, and they win both games,
right.
And they're 7 for 40, and you're like, man, that's not as bad as 0 for 33, right? I mean, it's just one of those weird quirks in a season that happens. Listen, baseball's weird. Baseball's hard. Hitting is hard, but you got to keep your lows as high and your highs high. You're always trying to keep everything high.
Let's show that board of the two offenses. So through April 17th, this team was 15-4. Blazing hot start. They were scoring 4.6 runs per game. Since then, they're 12-16, scoring just under 4 runs per game, 3.96. Batting average significantly down, on base significantly down, slugging down a ton. Home run number similar in a lot more games, and the stolen base number cut in half in a lot more games. 24 stolen bases in their first 19 games, 12 stolen bags in their next 28 games. I mean, I'm with AJ here, Kratz.
But no, here's the thing, Scott. You can look at these and all you say what you want, but Kratz will tell you this. When you're hitting and you're feeling good, you steal more bases and you're more aggressive. When you're not hitting, everyone just shuts it down because you're like, man, I don't want to possibly make an out or do something crazy on when you're not hitting, everything looks like crap. Food tastes like crap. The hotel beds feel like crap. Everything is crap. And then as soon as you start hitting, guess what? The whole team is happy. It's weird. It's weird how people are like, oh, you don't have any energy. Well, you got 2 hit. Guess what? There's not a lot of energy about when you get 2 hit, guys.
Happy hit day.
That's right. All right, let's hit one streaker on the other side, and then we'll get ready for Will Benson. The Angels have won 6 games in a row, and right now they're beaten down on the A's, who have lost 8 games in a row. So there's a big flip-flop going on in the AL West. I know AJ's looking like, damn, I thought the A's were going to be better than this. They are plunging, and the Angels are coming back to life. I mean, basically everybody had them dead already in the season, and this little 6-gamer is putting them in wild card contention, back in a mix, at least to be relevant here. I mean, this is what we've seen with the Twins in the American League Central, where you look at the Twins and you're like, oh, they're done. They're dead. I think the Orioles are actually done. But for a lot of these other teams, AJ, it's too early to actually do a burial ceremony when we're in mid-May.
Yeah, listen, I'm more worried about the A's than the Angels. Like, what happened? The A's were 22-20 and playing great, and now they've lost 8 in a row? Like, what the heck happened? That's what I want to know. What happened to my A's? My A's, I picked you guys to be there at the end, and here you are losing 8 games in a row in the middle of May. Like, what? Well, that's the thing to me is the Angels, great, they're hot, but the A's, what the heck happened to the Sacramento, Oakland, West Athletics, whatever the Las Vegas, whatever the hell you are? Is fighting Mark Kotze's? What the hell?
Does it mean that if you just score runs all the time and you just bludgeon teams and you have these long games that they're having, it's like 9-8, 12-7. They're winning those. Does that wear you out? Are they having a case of getting worn out? Is the youth of this team, the inexperience of this team getting to them? I don't think so. I was just looking at their schedule, and I think they just ran into some hot teams right now. Now, obviously, people will say, well, they ran into hot teams because they were playing the A's who were playing Barrett. But you got to – I think they were probably not playing better than you would think they were going to, but they came off a stretch where they played the Marlins. And then they went the Mariners, who's one of the best teams in baseball. Then they played the Yankees. Then they played the Dodgers, the Giants. Now, the Angels is when they probably looked at the schedule and they go, we can get it back there. But they haven't, because the Angels and Logan O'Hoppe have been hitting moonshot dingers.
So I'll just give you the stats on the way out here for runs allowed in this 8-game losing streak. Going backwards with the Dodgers series to now. 9, 19, 9, 1, 3, 4, 7, 10. It's a lot of runs. You're not going to win most of those games.
Look at their run differentials. They're minus 69. Dinner for two. They're minus
Diggity.
69, by the way. That doesn't matter to Scott.
Diggity.
But they've been doing this all year. They're giving up so many runs before they were just keeping up with the other runs.
Exactly. And hey, the Angels are scoring a lot of runs. That offense is looking good right now, and the bullpen's getting it done. They had some issues with the bullpen at one point. People were getting critical of Ron Washington's decision making. They've seemed to hit their stride again. They're scoring late, and then they're holding those leads. We'll see what happens. Let's get to another team playing pretty good ball right now, the Cincinnati Reds. Will Benson, Player of the Week, joining us next on FT.
There's a lot of failure in baseball, and you should also look at your favorite manager and see how he's doing since he took over whatever job that is, because sometimes you can age fast, you can lose hair, and Kratz, we might have an answer for those stressed out managers, and it is
Nutrafol. You might lose hair, but Nutrafol will help you thicken it back up, and you will look as youthful as the first day you were a manager.
That's right. Many hair supplements overpromise and underdeliver, but Nutrafol is different as the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. So start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol, and for a limited time, you can get $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and then enter the promo code FOUL. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code FOUL.
I'm going to do a trivia question or two for you today. So there's 3 active MLB hitters with at least 3,000 plate appearances that have a 300 or better career batting average.
Freddie Freeman.
One player, there's one. And one guy just recently crossed the plate appearance threshold to be able to be active.
Luis
for this.
Arraez.
That's 2.
There's 3 of them?
There's 3. Third one's kind of tougher. I mean, it's a notable long-time name.
Mookie?
Not Mookie. He's under. It's a long-time name. It's a most likely future Hall of Famer.
Arenado.
I mean, it should be. No. I mean, if I give you this little hint, it'll help. Former Kratz teammate, and
Kutch?
he's not tall.
Altuve.
Jose Altuve?
304. How
I
about
thought he was
that?
higher than that. I thought he would be higher than that. I thought he'd be in the 310 range.
That's so high. That is a high number.
304 is the new 340 or something. I mean,
No, I know. I'm
how
just
many
saying. I
guys are
thought
in
he
the
would be. I thought he would be in the 310 range, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does
It's
he have a
probably
batting
dropped
title?
a little bit.
Yeah, he has to have.
You don't ask trivia back to the trivia questionnaire, man.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know.
He's got an MVP. I know
remember.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He probably has a batting title if I had to guess. He's got double-digit
Answer
years.
is 3 of them.
Wow. Hey, we've got Will Benson from the Cincinnati Reds joining us right now on Foul Territory. Welcome back to the show. Congrats on Player of the Week, Will, and a huge week, including that weekend sweep against the state rival Cleveland Guardians. How you doing, man? Happy to be back up and thriving?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm definitely grateful that I got the opportunity to play and, put some good numbers up.
Take us through your journey this year. Like, was it a change? Was it something that clicked for you in the minors? Like, how would you describe the way that things are currently working for you?
I would say the journey has just been really focused on the routine and the process and just being consistent with that. It really kind of began in this past offseason, just kind of learning, who I am, and what I want to be and the direction I want to go. And then just continuously building blocks every day. There's little nuggets here and there that I picked up along the way. Coming into the actual season, from the off season and spring training, and then just being consistent with that approach.
Every time you've talked to us, or we were even live out in Vegas the one time you were on the show, you're super positive. You're like, yeah, I'm going to go get it. When you get sent down to the bushes after having up and down big league career, but a lot of ups, a lot of awesome things, how pissed really were you? Because, believe me, I know about getting sent down. AJ maybe doesn't know about getting sent down. How pissed were you? But how did you channel that ultimately once you got down there?
Yeah, I was definitely a mixed bag of emotions. I wouldn't say I was crazy upset, because you know when you do everything you're supposed to do, then it's that's just what God gave me type of mentality. I definitely was upset, but I knew, I told my wife this, in the off season, this is gonna be a great year. I just told her that, and so my mindset was already kind of set on what I'm trying to do. This was just a little wrinkle in the journey, but I feel with my faith, I just stayed to the process and the routine. I just kept my focus, just tunnel vision on what I was trying to do, and that didn't matter whether I was in the big leagues or I was in AAA, because I know I was speaking with I feel bad, I'm tripping on his name. I worked out with him in the off season, and he had a similar thing, and it was his platform year, and he was just like, man, I know if it ain't here, then I know there's other teams that can use me and see value in me. And so from then I just had that perspective of hey, if it's not here, that's okay. I'll just do what I have to do, work on my craft, work on my game, and let God take the wheel, and wherever it lands, that's just where it lands. So that's how I was able to keep that type of upbeat, positive, outlook on it.
Will, when you were sent down, and by the way, I was sent down plenty of times. I know Kratz likes to say that, but I was sent down plenty of times. What was your focus? I know you keep saying, God first, which I respect and love that. And you're saying stay positive, which is great. But when they sent you down, they didn't just say go to AAA. They gave you specific things to work on. So when you went down there, what were you working on? Did you make some changes in your swing? Did you make some approach changes? You had to have changed something. It's not like they just said, just go down there and hopefully we'll see you later.
Well, I think it was more of a situational type thing. So it was hey, if you come up with us to start the year, I wasn't going to play very much. And it was hey, go down, get your at-bats, get your rhythm, get your groove. And so that's where it was okay, well, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to see how well can I execute my routine day after day after day, and how consistent can I be with what I was trying to do. There was a little bit of an adjustment, with my swing, what I was trying to do, but it's nothing crazy. It's more just being relaxed up there, just kind of with my stance and my posture. But in terms of what I'm good at and what I'm trying to attack, those things were, relatively the same. It's just how well can I do it day after day. As we know, the big, being successful in our sport is just how consistent can you be. And so, obviously being able to play every day in AAA was a blessing because I was able to work on that consistency whenever I got the chance to come back up.
The other day, Dalton Rushing got called up to the big leagues with the Dodgers. As a prospect, the guy was called up, and we had a debate on here about playing or not playing. If a guy like Will Smith is hitting 350 in front of him, he's probably not going to play a ton. How, as a young player, or even as just a prospect coming up to the big leagues, how is that tough to sit? You talked about like taking your approach and then like actually being able to execute it because you were playing every day in the bushes. But you want to be in the big leagues, but you're not playing every day. How difficult is that? And is that something that that people can be successful without actually playing every day?
Great question, Kratz. I think everybody is given a different role. Everybody's given a different opportunity, especially out of the gate. And so I think, if you're a young guy coming in, and you kind of have an idea of, okay, maybe I might play every fourth day. I think it's really important to learn, and soak up as much as you can from watching, somebody, for an example, like you were using the guy you were talking about in Will Smith, like really sit there and watch. And if you get a chance or when you get that chance to play, do your thing, obviously, like you do well, awesome. You don't do well, okay, like how can I use this to whenever I get another opportunity, how can I, be better than I was last time? And it's really difficult to keep that perspective because, again, in the back of your mind, it's like, oh, man, I might get sent down. That's like, I think the biggest hurdle that a lot of us young guys have to kind of get past is that little demon in the back of your mind, like, man, this might be my last day. So that's the hardest part. And I think when we're talking about, okay, I understand, hey, I'm going to be playing, every fourth day, right? Where in my practice can I make it as close as possible? How can, I pick my spots when, hey, there's a good chance I'll be playing here. Like, how well can I prepare for that opportunity and make the most of it. And a lot of that, again, is really how you really look at it. That'll really dictate a lot of your ability to come through in those type of moments.
Is there anybody you watch? Like, is there any like video you watch of another player that you like kind of like get some inspiration, or you're like, maybe my swing doesn't look like this guy's, but other guys attack him the same way, or maybe I just like think if I watch this guy hit, I'm a better player?
Man, you got another great question. I feel, I've gone back and forth with this. I do a lot of this more in the off season because I think that's the appropriate time. But I love watching Barry Bonds play, like any clips or anything that I can get of him. I just like to watch how he approaches the at-bat, how he looks in the at-bat. A lot of his mannerisms are just very unfazed and dominant. So I try to replicate that and how he has an amazing ability for not only zone control, but his ability to put the bat on the ball when he gets that pitch in the zone. I think that's an incredible skill. So I just try to like really just let my brain watch and collect as much information I can. But that's more in the off season. Actually, that was one funny thing I think I learned about myself. Was I did a little bit this year. I love watching Freddie Freeman, and I love watching Judge. The only thing with those guys, mainly Freddie, because he's left-handed and I really like his swing, is like you have to know Freddie's Freddie and I'm me, right? So we're going to swing different ways, we're going to do different things. I like some of the things that he does. So he does a really good job of taking that inside pitch to center field. He does a really good job of that. He keeps that path through the baseball really well. So I like to watch that. And again, I just have to be careful because then it's like you don't want to try to be exactly like someone else. You just take little nuggets and help you improve, your game. So a lot of it for me, from Freddie, is just like, hey, how well can I, emulate a type of path that's through the baseball like him? And then the other guy I mentioned was Judge. Just watching what he's been able to do this year. I watched his first, I think, like 15 games. And similar to Bonds, it's just their ability to control the zone, not miss pitches that they like, and just have a presence of just dominance and unbothered, man, is really cool to watch. And those are things that I try to emulate.
Is that attainable? Do you watch those dudes and you see what Judge has been doing this whole year? You see what Freddie's been doing since he had a little bit of a slow start on a bad ankle, and you're like, your numbers matched for the week, and that's why you got a player of the week award. But your numbers matched this past week what they're doing the entire season. Does that ever look, when you're watching it, like, this feels kind of unattainable?
People. Actually, I'll come back. I think all of these things are attainable. Obviously, you have to have grace, right? Prepare your horses, and God delivers the victory. But I think all of these things are attainable. You just have to understand how to get it for yourself. I think those people, being Judge, being Freddie Freeman, Bonds, they learned how to get the best out of themselves every day. And when it didn't feel good, they found a way to still get the best. Now, again, some of them are God-given abilities. It's just like, man, you're just good at the sport, or you know what I'm trying to say. But I think it very much is attainable. You just have to understand, really, how do you get the best out of yourself for that day, and do it day after day. And that's where it's like, it is so impressive that they're doing it, because they are genuinely, it takes effort day after day. And there are days where it's easier than others, right? Days you're in your groove. Like, obviously for Judge right now, I couldn't imagine what he's even feeling. He probably don't even feel anything. That level of consistency takes work. And it's impressive for them to watch. And I do think it is obtainable. Yes.
All right, Will, you came out of the Grissom Baseball Association or Academy. What is it called? Association in Georgia?
No, I played against them a lot, but
played against
I grew up. I'm a Sandtown Red Sox. That's on the south side. But we played against the Gresham Park Dodgers a lot. I think that was one of Grissom's teams, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you were, because I was going to channel my question to Chandler Simpson. If Chandler Simpson, because you and him, you're on the same list. If Chandler Simpson and you hit a 40-yard dash tomorrow, because you need some stretching first, how much of a lead do you need to beat him?
Oh, 40-yard. I mean, hey, that guy's fast. I'm fast too, but he's fast.
Right?
Man. Yeah, he's fast. I mean, for me to comfortably win, like give me like 3-4 yards.
Okay.
For me
That's
to comfortably win. But like, again, he's got, it's funny, I actually trained in the off season with him, Victor, Scott, Law, a couple Taylor Trammell, Zay, a couple guys especially during that pandemic era where, I mean, all you could do is really work out, and it was really impressive just to be around them guys and work out with them, because everybody was just so uniquely gifted in their own way. And Chan definitely was gifted with that speed.
For sure.
Well, what's the difference this year with Tito and David Bell? What's been the difference, the biggest difference that you've noticed since spring training started? Because you came up with David Bell, now you have Tito. They're not the same person. I know I know both of them well. They're definitely different people. One, So what's the biggest difference you've noticed?
I think more so the word aura comes to mind. I think when it was in 23 when we were doing it, and the aura and everything was there. I think we just kind of had this almost expectation to win, and so DB was excellent at just gassing us up and getting us to that place. I think now it's with Tito, the aura around it is we gonna get it done. You know what I mean? And his presence for us is like what we gonna do today to win, and it's kind of just that simple. And I think it's just more direct hit of we've got a manager who expects nothing less of us than to go out here and dominate.
Well, what do the Reds need to do? Because I listen, a lot of people pick the Reds to win the Central. The pitching obviously is there. The hitting can be there at times. But what do you guys need to do? What does Tito, what does your coaching staff say to you guys on a daily basis that y'all need to do to win this division and get to where you guys want to get, which Tito always seems to figure out a way to, if not get there, but be close to getting to the postseason?
Yeah, for us, what we need to do is play consistent, clean baseball. We just went on a 5-game heater, and in that time period, man, you sit there and watch our games, and it's just extremely clean, clean from the pitching, like you said, hitting. I mean, we are hitting as a collective unit. Moving guys over, getting guys in, applying a lot of pressure to that starter, so that we have to, we get the opportunity to kind of get into that bullpen. So I think when we're talking about, playoffs, I think what we can get better at is winning those tighter, close games, and in those close games, playing clean baseball, being smart on the base path, getting a guy. Let's say we have a leadoff double, like, hey, let's get him over, get him in. Like those little things will really push us over the edge. Because I think when we're going, man, there's no question what we can do. But when we get to some of them close in games, is how well can we just cash in and execute when the game's asking us to.
Okay, last one. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. Who's the best pitcher on your staff? Hunter Green, Brady Singer, Lodolo, Andrew Abbott, or is there someone else that we need to be talking about as far as pitching goes on the Red staff?
Yeah, I think Hunter Green right now at the moment is the ace. I mean, as you guys have seen, he's been dominant, man. Like all his pitches are working. He's given us a chance. And I think what's nice about our rotation at the moment is that they're giving us room to really win the game on the offensive side, right? So meaning there is going to be 2 runs or less for the first 6 innings, and that when you can count on that from your staff, that's a blessing. And I think when it comes to Hunter, I mean, for him, it's been 1 run or less. And so that makes it even more room for us to go out there and dominate. And he's been very consistent. I'm very happy for him. And that'll be my answer, Hunter Green. He's coming back soon. I think he's coming back tomorrow from his injury. Yeah, so that's going to be exciting. This will be my first time actually in the big leagues this year to watch it firsthand. So that's going to be really cool.
Okay, so you guys got the Cubs coming in. So you got Green, you got Abbott, and I think you have Lodolo lined up. 1, 2, 3 for you guys. You do. Must-win series for the Reds? I know it's early, but is this a must-win series for the Reds this weekend at home with your best 3 going?
It's funny you say that. I think every series is in some form or fashion a must-win. When when you put too much hype on one series, I think that's when you kind of, blow your load in a way. But I consistently look at every series as a must win, because if you win every series, you're going to look up and you're going to be in the playoffs. So whether it be the Cubs or anybody in our division, it's a must win. Like last week was a must win, or against the Pirates, that was a must win. Same thing goes for this weekend.
Yeah, and last weekend looked like
Yeah,
must win against the Guardians. They swept
Pirates are
them.
only scoring 3 runs or less. They haven't scored 4 runs in like a month. So, I mean, that was like, if we just hit 1 3-run homer, we're winning this game. I mean, that's how the Pirates haven't scored 4 runs in a month. 4, not like 10. I'm talking 4 in one game.
Yeah.
Just 4 runs in one game. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
hey, it's funny. It's shout out to Bailey, man. I work out with him, Falter, and I was very impressed with that first game. I think they won 1-0. I believe that was 1-0. Or no, I think it was 1-0. But then the second day it was almost an identical game. And then they kind of put it on us at the end. But I was like, man, like I told you about the rotation, they do a really good job of giving us a window. Like those first, almost all those games, the first 5-6 innings, it's a 1-0 game. And I think that's how it's going to be when we come to these type of division games, which are just a little bit more tight, and people know what's at stake behind them.
Well, we're looking forward to it, man.
Tell
what do
the
you got,
Redskins
AJ?
to come out this weekend, too, because it
No. Uh-oh. I don't know what happened.
I don't either.
Are y'all there?
I'm here. We'll just talk, Will, me and
All
you.
right.
Can you hear
The
me?
last thing I heard was
Let's
the
go
Red-
kick them other 2 out. Let's just have a real conversation now. They're gone. No,
Yeah.
Will, thank you. Thank you very much. Seriously, great to see you back. You're one of our best interviews. We're going to hit a break right now, but enjoy Cincinnati and don't sweat to death there, because that place is hot as hell and it's getting really hot.
Oh, yeah.
All
I
right.
appreciate you, man, for having me.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate it.
Peace.
Kratz, I'm going to let everyone in on a little secret. I am not a fan of carrying around physical cash. I go Cash App, where you can send, receive, or transfer money with family and friends. It's super easy. They've got your back too. Like if you're trying to send some money and you maybe put in the wrong account name, they'll be like, hey, this is a sketchy account. Are you sure you want to send this? Cash App has your back. They do it safe, securely, easily, and fee-free.
And all you got to do is download the app, and Scott can actually pay for his half of dinner.
Exactly. For a limited time only, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, there's no catch. Download Cash App, sign up. It's very easy, and use our exclusive referral code Territory in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App.
Here we go. We're back with Chandler Rome from The Athletic and, of course, Crush City Territory as well. Your host of the show that you should check out, all about the Houston Astros. Chandler, great to see you. And let's just start nice and general with the Astros. I feel like we haven't talked about them enough. Best part of the 2025 Astros right now and worst part is?
The best part's Hunter Brown, and that's kind of without that's tough to debate. Their bullpen's been sneaky good. I say sneaky good. I think they have the best bullpen ERA in baseball, but Hunter Brown is the best pitcher in baseball right now, in my opinion. He did not have a great start yesterday at Steinbrenner Field. The jet stream in right field and the small dimensions did not help him. But he was due a clunker. I think he gave up 5 runs in 5 innings, and that raised his ERA to a huge 2.04. He has been the epitome of an ace. He's been everything that this team has needed and more. He is the guy, he and Framber Valdez are keeping this thing afloat and really stabilizing a pitching staff that's had a ton of injuries so far. So it's easy to say that Hunter Brown's probably the best thing about the Astros right now. The worst is the lineup. They are underperforming as an offense. Their offseason acquisition, one of them, Christian Walker, has really, really scuffled. Jose Altuve is in the middle of one of the worst 35-game stretches of his career. Jordan Alvarez is still on the IL with a hand injury. And all that being said, they knew coming into the season that this lineup was going to be a bat or two short, given that they let Alex Bregman walk, they traded Kyle Tucker. So when those guys aren't producing, when Alvarez isn't on the field and Altuve and Walker are scuffling, inherently the lineup's just not going to function. They have a 695 team OPS right now. They're slugging 378 as a team. It's not a deep lineup. It's not a lineup that is giving Joe Espada many options either, because as we speak right now, they are carrying they have 14 position players. 12 of them are right-handed, and their only 2 semblances of balance are switch hitting backup catcher Victor Caratini and left-handed hitting third catcher Cesar Salazar, who, since he got called up for Jordan Alvarez, has not played in a game. So Joe has very little he can do to mix the lineup up look-wise. Opposing managers can just send every right-handed reliever they have out there because the Astros have no recourse. They can't create a platoon advantage. They can't create any sort of late-game, advantage situations because this is a poorly constructed roster and it's a lineup that they knew coming in was going to be thin, and the guys that they are paying to produce are not producing.
Not going to any of the new guys first, but going to Jose Altuve. Is the lack of protection more evident in Altuve's at-bats throughout the short season so far, or is it a sign of regression that Altuve's maybe hitting that little bump year where he's going to have to make an adjustment?
I think it's a little bit of both, Eric. I mean, he did not have much protection, still doesn't. But they have slowly moved him down in the batting order. He asked out of the leadoff spot about 3 weeks ago, ceded that to Jeremy Pena, who's having a great year. And then a couple days ago, Joe Espada moved him down to third in the batting order, trying to spark something a little bit. And I mean, actions kind of speak louder than words at this point, that they keep finding ways to get him down a little bit. He's Jose Altuve. They're not going to abandon him. They're not going to not run him out there every day. I was joking on Crush City earlier that we were having this debate, and Reddick and I joked that, they play a 4-game series against the Mariners this weekend. He'll probably get 13 hits in those 4 games and make us all look stupid for, talking about his demise, if you will. But you look at the Savant page right now, it doesn't look good. It's a lot of blue. He's hitting 190 against fastballs against 4-seamers this year. He hit 308 against 4-seamers last year. His bat speed is down from his career, from other points in his career. His ground ball rate is very up. His line drive rate is one of the lowest line drive rates of his career. There's not much under the hood that says it's nearing or getting better or there's bad luck. But again, he's Jose Altuve. They're not giving up on him. He's going to run out there every day, and they have faith in him more than anyone that he's going to find a way to turn it around.
Where's Jordan Alvarez? Because we did a whole thing last week. I think it was that he didn't do interviews in Texas and he missed this and he's doing this and they don't know what's wrong with him. Where the heck is Jordan Alvarez?
Well, I'll give Jordan credit. He did do an interview in Tampa on the first day of the trip in Tampa. I was not there, so I was not in the interview. But reading the quotes that he gave, it sounds like he was pretty frustrated, just that he didn't think it would take this long. But at the same time, he said it was something that has been bothering him for a while. He has had hand issues in the past. If you cover the Astros or if you follow the Astros for any length of time, you understand that they are not going to tell you much about injuries. They're not going to be specific about a lot of stuff. And they've lost all benefit of the doubt from their fans, from people that cover them. They've lost all benefit of the doubt when they start talking about injuries at this point. So at this point, anything they say about him, like I just kind of let go in one ear and out the other. Like I'll when he's back, he'll be back. So I can't really take much that they say now with a ton of merit. But if you believe what they say, he's got a muscle strain at the top of his hand. He is still swinging a bat, but he does still feel some discomfort while swinging the bat. That's what they say. So he has not progressed to hitting BP on the field. He's taken like soft toss and tee work, but he's still a little bit away. Like I'd be surprised if you see him this weekend against the Mariners, but with the Astros, who knows? They could activate him today and surprise all of us.
Can you give us another example besides the Jordan thing? Because Kyle Tucker last year had a contusion, and then we found out right when he was coming back, it was a fracture, but that was 3-4 months later. Is there other examples?
I mean, it's more, and look, I'm not here, and AJ Kratz, like you guys played, like I'm not here like seeking like medical records of players. Like I don't want to know what medicines they're on. I don't want, like, we're not asking for much here, but the clarity that they provide is non-existent. And the prognoses they give is usually, it exceeds what they say, or it's not all the way true. Like the lack of just alignment and communication has been something that has now spanned 3 general managers. It spanned 3 field managers. So this is not something that is new this year. It's something that has been for a while. You look at their guys, their pitchers that have undergone arm surgery and their return to play. Luis Garcia had Tommy John surgery, I want to say about 14, 15 months ago, and he's had a number of setbacks, not even thrown off a mound yet. Lance McCullers, we've been through how many setbacks he had. Dana Brown admitted last year that they rushed JP France back from a shoulder injury that caused him to tear the capsule in his shoulder and that needed a repair, a surgery. James Click, the former general manager, acknowledged that they rushed Jake Myers back from his torn labrum that he suffered in the 2021 ALDS. Click promised a review of the Astros' return to play procedure at that point. He was fired a couple months later, so I don't know if that review of the return to play procedure ever actually happened. But if you've watched how they've handled themselves and how all these pitchers have setbacks and how all these position players aren't coming back on time, it would seem prudent that they would need to review the return to play procedure. And the Tucker contusion thing, I mean, at the end of the day, like it got to be where like they were making him look bad because like fans thought he was out for 3.5 months with a bruise. When, I talked to doctors, I wrote a story where I quoted like 4 orthopedic surgeons who said like, yeah, it's possible to be out for 4. These things can take this long to heal for a bone bruise, but it's not that common. And come to find out there was a fracture in there. So it's just kind of part of the territory covering this team. This is how they're going to operate. So you kind of have to roll with the punches and go with it.
Someone who had a lot of setbacks and had a tough time getting back. It's the anniversary of his debut just a few days ago when he wore his Batman cleats. Lance McCullers is taking the mound tonight. What is the difference that you see in Lance McCullers from the day that he made his Batman cleats big league debut and had that arrogance and swag to now somebody who's gone through quite a bit and has worked his way to get back out on the mound?
Man, that's a big question because, like you said, I mean, it was 10 years ago that he debuted. He's gotten married since then. He's had 2 little girls. I mean, obviously that matures you, like becoming a husband, becoming a father. He is certainly not maybe the throat slashing, swaggy like kid that was on the mound back then, but certainly believes a lot. Certainly is very confident in himself. That hasn't changed. That kind of inner aura and that kind of inner swagger hasn't changed. Maybe he's not showing it on the mound as much. As far as like what he is as a pitcher, like a completely different guy. Like the days of 24 straight curveballs to win a pennant in 2017 are long gone. So are the days really of him as a curveball maestro. Like his curveball now is basically a show pitch to lefties, where like he's way more into his changeup now. He uses the slider a lot. The two seam is, you're not going to see a bunch of 95, 96 anymore. He's 90, 92, can hit 93. He started backdooring the two seam in his last start against the Rangers. He is a different pitcher, and injuries have kind of forced that. He was away from the game for 915 days before, returning this season. And he was never going to return throwing, 96, 97, not the same kind of guy. And look, the curveball had kind of lessened in emphasis before he got hurt too. Like he had incorporated a slider, he had incorporated the changeup, he throws the four seam every now and then. He is a much more complete pitcher now than maybe he was when he debuted in 2015. And certainly he's been through a lot. One of the two remaining guys from the 2017 Astros that are still active with the Astros. So he's obviously been through a ton with the fallout of that scandal and everything. But a much more complete pitcher, a guy that's not going to rely on just spinning you to death with curveballs, a lot more varied, diverse arsenal, and a guy that is only growing in importance to the Astros right now, given Ronel Blanco's the news recently that Ronel Blanco had some elbow pain.
Hey, Chandler, a great story is Colton Gordon. He pitched in Tampa the other day he's from St. Pete. He grew up a Rays fan, the whole thing. This guy kind of came out of nowhere for this team. He's not a hard thrower. He's kind of a soft tossing lefty with a bunch of breaking balls. Can he help them in the long term? And plus, you got to tell the cool story about him, delivering pizzas while he was on rehab. It's kind of an awesome story.
Yeah, I guess I'll start with the pizza thing because that's hilarious to me. The Astros, he was a discount draft by the Astros. He had Tommy John surgery in May of his draft year, and the Astros took a high school kid with their first pick of that draft, needed to pay him over slot. So they were looking for some discount picks later in that draft. Colton Gordon, 8th round pick. I think they signed him for like $50,000 under his slot value, but he threw strikes. They liked the fastball from the left side. And, so once he signs his contract, they sent him to West Palm to rehab Tommy John. And if you ever meet and talk to Colton Gordon, he does not do well with just like sitting still, sitting idle. He's very fidgety, always has to be doing something. And he would finish his rehab every day at about noon and didn't want to sit in the hotel that they put him up in all day. So if you ever been to Florida spring training, you know about Clematis Street in West Palm Beach. He walked into Clematis Pizza on Clematis Street in downtown West Palm, said, "Look, I'm only here for 4 months, but if you guys will have me, I'll deliver pizzas." And they gave him the job. And I don't know that he made back the $50,000 that he got shorted in the slot value thing, but it was interesting for him to talk to. Like he said that allowed him to take his mind off the rehab. Like it gives you something to do during rehab to where you're not just thinking about, man, I'm not going to be pitching in a competitive environment for the next 9-10 months. Like Tommy John rehab is such an isolating experience and it's so monotonous. And like guys need that to take their mind off of stuff. And for him, it was delivering pizzas in a Ford F-150 in West Palm Beach. He didn't remember how much he made, but he did tell a story about he pulled up to one of those mansions on the island in Palm Beach, was bringing 10 pepperoni pizzas to the security guards that were working a party, and they tipped him $100 for delivering 10 pepperoni pizzas. So that was great for young Colton Gordon. Now, older Colton Gordon has made the big leagues. They sent him out after his last start in St. Pete, where he actually pitched very well against a Rays lineup that cannot hit left-handed pitching, but he pitched well. They sent him out with Ronel Blanco likely headed to the IL in the next couple of days. That would pave the way if they do need a starter for Sunday against the Mariners. Would pave the way for them to call him back up quick because he's replacing someone that went on the IL. I think he can help them. I don't know that he's like a middle of the rotation, like count on this guy, but he throws a ton of strikes. He throws a lot of different. He is the epitome of a crafty lefty. Just the velo's not up there, but like has a 6-pitch arsenal, can command it really well. And one thing Joe Espada has said, one thing that a lot of team officials have said, like this guy's not scared. Like he comes right at you. Like he'll pound the zone. He's aggressive in the strike zone. He's going to make hitters get themselves out. And I think this is a guy that could get them, 2 times through an order before turning it over to that bullpen that's been good all year. So, yeah, I think he can help them, and I think he may have to help them given the state of their kind of what they are facing injury-wise on their pitching staff.
Hey, security guards get good cash, so good for them being good tippers. I like that. Chandler, thank you for the time, man. Keep crushing it on Crush City. We love listening to it, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Chandler Rome. Check out his work, his articles in The Athletic, his podcasts on Crush City territory, wherever you get your pods, and of course on YouTube. Josh Reddick and Tyler Stafford, part of that party as well. We're swinging back to go over some quotes from Liam Hendriks and his underusage.
If you're a card collector or you'd like to get into card collecting, may I suggest Arena Club and slab packs, which means that you can rip the packs digitally and, of course, get the card that you want. It's also the most trusted name in the game, and I would rather rip packs these days on my phone than sit next to you and have you grabbing one of my physical packs if I was grabbing one.
Yeah, you don't need me grabbing your packs, because last time you grabbed one, it ended up like this card. So let's not have that, and that's why Arena Club is great. They send them to you in these fancy protectors like this Scout Braun card that we have here, and they'll come safe. They're already graded. Or you could do like I do and just leave my cards in the showroom and never actually see them physically.
Yeah.
But they're safe, protected, and if I want to sell them, I can.
Buy, sell, trade. They offer full transparency, showing every card in the slab pack with the likelihood of pulling each one, so you know exactly what's available before you buy. Get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/FAL and use code FAL.
Hey, AJ, we've got that tweet on the Pirates record. Noah Hiles, beat writer for the Pirates, been on this show. 26 straight games with 4 or less runs scored was marked yesterday as matching the longest streak in modern baseball history. 1931 Boston Braves also had this streak. 1969 Giggity California Angels also had this streak. That's crazy.
Derek Shelton's fault, though, right? Derek Shelton's fault?
Oh, he gone.
He got fired, right? It's his fault. It was his fault, though, right? That they couldn't score any runs, that the team didn't bring in any offensive players this offseason. I mean, Tommy Pham hasn't been great, but Tommy Pham's not supposed to carry an offense for 2 months at a time, or he's supposed to be just a piece, right? I mean, where's the offense? If you're not the pitching, I mean, they did lose Jared Jones, which sucks because he could be out till 27, which really sucks. But I mean, you have Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens goes out and gives up 2 hits, loses 1-0. It seems like every time. Look at their ERAs. Will Benson mentioned it. Look at the Pirates ERAs. They have like 4 guys in like the top 20 of baseball, and they're awful because they can't score. You got to score to win at some point.
I did a radio hit the other day where they were like, will any of these manager changes lead to significant changes in win-losses? You know, like 2022, Rob Thompson took over for Joe Girardi, and you can look up the history there. That worked. Kratz, we're going 0 for 3 on this one. Yeah,
that was a good team. I think Jim Bowden brought a great point up. What is the new guy coming in changing? What is his new change that's going to happen that he didn't see before?
Agreed.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
We've got some comments from Liam Hendriks to Alex Spear of WEEI, and we'll start here. There were a couple games where it was like I was the last guy in the bullpen. It's a new experience for me. I felt like I had been pitching well to get trusted in a couple of those situations, and it didn't come to fruition. We had a couple chats. I got in there today, and it didn't quite work out. I feel like I haven't been pitching enough. If you want me to be me, I've got to pitch. I'll rust before I wear out, and that's something. But at the end of the day, I've got to reward them for throwing me by getting guys out. If I'm not doing that, I don't deserve to pitch. Alex Cora addressed the comments and said, we have to use him. That's on me. That's on the pitching department. We've got to trust him. There's a reason he's here. Been there, done that. Right now, numbers-wise, he's been solid. The fastball's trending up, which is great. He's been able to bury the slider and the curveball, which is great. We have to use him. AJ, thoughts on this?
Okay, first of all, Alex Cora is saying it's on the pitching department. Aren't you the manager? Don't you make those decisions? Who comes into the games? Also, he has a 5.5 ERA. So to say like he's getting guys out, I don't know about that. 5.5 ERA out of the bullpen. that's usually not getting a whole lot of guys out because unless he's coming in with all clean innings, he's also torching other dudes' runs too. So let's not forget about that. But, like, you've been hurt. Like, when he says I'll rust before I wear out, he's been hurt. And I know he had cancer, but he's also had his arm worked on a couple times. So, like, dude, just be happy that you're getting to pitch. Like, until you can go out and prove and you get 4 or 5 scoreless outings in a row, then you're not going to get higher leverage situations. Guess what? You might have to be the 26th guy until you work your way back up to that. So far, I mean, I'm looking at his numbers right now. He's 0-1 with a 5.56 ERA. I mean, there's not really any way I can look at this and say, man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. A lot of walks, he's still striking guys out, but I don't know. Sometimes you just got to work your way back to that. You've been out for years. You got to get back into it. That's it.
His last 2 outings really ballooned his ERA. He gave up 5 runs in his last 2 outings, 2 and 3. Before that, he was doing well, but he also really didn't pitch. He pitched on the 10th of May, then 4 days off, didn't pitch, and then on the 21st he pitched again. So it's a lot of days off, but this is the bullpen life. Bullpen, all the time we talk about starters not going long enough because the bullpen's going to get worn out. Oh, bullpen guys are throwing too much. Then when they don't throw enough, oh, we're not throwing enough. We're stay rusty. This is what goes on, and this is why, honestly, it takes a saint to be a bullpen coach. You can't just hang out down there and hear these dudes constantly, I want to get in the game. I want to get in the game. I am throwing too much. What are they trying to do? Wear us down. Like, it's a fine line for a manager to constantly be like, okay, I got to talk to all these guys. These guys are pissed. They're happy. They're always this and that. To me, Cora's saying this is the pitching department. Like, the pitching department has to make sure this happens. Like, I don't know. Why? Why the pitching department? You're the manager. You get paid way more than the pitching coach.
I'm curious about the hierarchy, not in Major League Baseball.
Hold on, before we get into this, but Liam Hendriks isn't like the 8th inning guy. He's not the closer, right? He's a guy that's still coming back from injury. So unless you're the closer or a super high leverage guy, then you're not going to have a defined role. You just got to kind of pitch when you get to pitch. I mean, I'm sorry. He's a veteran guy. I mean, I know he wants to pitch every other day or whatever, but if the game doesn't dictate that, then they're not going to put him into that game. If it's a 1-0 game in the 8th inning, Liam Hendriks hadn't earned the trust yet of Alex Cora and the pitching department to be into that game. That's just the way it is.
AJ, do you get the vibe that Alex Cora is pretty straightforward? He's got dirt in his spikes now, managing this team for a bit, including a World Series title, and he's able to point things out that other teams would be a little more hidden about. Like, yeah, there's a pitching department that includes the front office, and they go over usage. There is lineup decision making. There is, where do we put Devers or who do we put at first base, right? There is internal dissension. Dissension's okay, right? Debate's good. You don't want yes men all around your organization just saying yes to one person. So how do you think the dynamic's working here? I feel as if Cora and Breslow have healthy debates, and then Cora will just kind of lay out, or maybe in a little bit of hidden messaging, lay out that maybe one person wants Liam to pitch more, one doesn't. One person wants Rafael Devers at first base, one doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, he does it. He does it subtle ways. He does it very, not out front, he just is kind of subtle and takes his little, boop, 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 here and there. But, listen, he's won a World Series in Boston, so not many guys can say that. So he can do that.
Yeah, I like it.
He has some cachet. And I know, Scott, you like that, but is that going to be his downfall, that he's like taking a little kind of pot shot at all the people? Because there's a lot of people giving him information that I'm sure a guy who knows a lot about what's going on is like, why are you telling me this? I know for a fact that the organization came to him after the year that they won the World Series and said, had you followed our pitching recommendations, the ERA would have been a half a run lower. And if you look back at the 18 team ERA, it was pretty good. But it was like, I think there's some jabbing back and forth. But every manager gets their sheet. It's about this big. Every manager gets their sheet, and they go, pitched, and it's like how many innings they've pitched, how many, like the previous 5 days, and then how many pitches, and then it's like green and red, and the columns are available, not available. And you kind of have to follow that because they believe that that is health and not health for pitchers. If you don't follow that, it's set out by people who the organization usually believes are smarter than the manager.
Yeah, it's your bullpen card right there. I mean, my thing is AJ probably saw some of that and it worked out for one season for sure in 2005, right? Kenny Williams and Ozzie Guillen would disagree on things, AJ, and they still found a lot of success. Disagreement
is not always a bad thing. It's not,
yeah,
because you can learn new things. As long as you're willing to listen to the other person, then it's not a bad thing. You know, it can't be, and I think that's one thing that's happened to some certain organizations, and we can look at the records and choose them, but they're always like, oh, yes, you're right. You're right. You're doing this the right way. Oh, I'll just, internally move up somebody because they were telling me what I wanted to hear. And now I'm going to put them in charge because they make me feel like my opinion is right. And we see it in organizations, and you got to have somebody there to tell the person who's in charge, hey, maybe this isn't the right move. But a lot of people don't like that because if they're in charge, they want people to say, yes, you're doing the right thing. And it's not always the best.
Yep. There's a lot of companies and even leagues that are like that, where you just have a bunch of yes men and then it leads to demise or at least to less productivity. It is what it is. All right, FT fam, coming up next, we're going to hop in the weeds and look at this chart that was nicely placed together by The Athletic on teams that are trying, not trying, and the league's haves and have-nots. Next.
Scott, you need to check out this Roback hoodie I have. It's 85 plus degrees here in Florida. Look, lightweight, feels great, cool colors, perfect for those hot Florida days.
I agree, AJ. Color looks fire. And you can get your own sweatshirt, polo, hoodie. Go check out Roback. And if you do and you're a first-time customer, Roback.com using the code FOUL gets you 20% off your first purchase. RHOBACK.com, code FOUL. Get after it, FT fam. So AJ, you weren't on for the Walker Buehler versus Mike Estabrook versus the Mets to an extent situation. Let's show a couple tweets from it. Francisco Lindor says there is no animosity between him and Buehler. Quote, I ain't got nothing against Buehler. I'm a lover. But yeah, I wanted to get him out of the game. It puts them at a disadvantage because he was like doing the, hey, get him out of the game. And then also Alex Cora said he laughed with Lindor yesterday morning at breakfast about Lindor urging Cora and Buehler to get ejected in the game. AJ, your thoughts on all that?
I mean, Buehler deserved to get ejected, but here's my thing with this. Narvaez, the catcher, is the one who's got to stop it. He went for the pitcher. And I'm going to give you young catchers out there a lesson. Get in the umpire's face. You get ejected before the pitcher gets ejected. Never let your pitcher get ejected. You jump in front of the umpire and you divert his attention to you. And if you have to go, then you go as the catcher. Don't let your pitcher be the one to go. Now, if it happens quick and the umpire has a quick trigger, but this was building, and if you watch Narvaez, he doesn't go. He goes to Buehler. If he just stops, Estabrook turns around and gets in his face. Estabrook loses his attention on Buehler, and it goes right to Narvaez, and then Narvaez might get ejected, fine. You'll take your catcher getting ejected over your starting pitcher that was dealing.
It's a good take. We didn't even cover that part of it. Kratz, did you notice that?
I like that. No, I didn't notice it. Young catcher, though, like AJ said, he was just in the bushes for a while, so he doesn't have a lot of experience up there.
Narvaez?
Carlos Narvaez? It's not Omar Narvaez.
Oh, right.
It's a different Narvaez. He was another Yankees prospect catcher who's swinging it. So maybe he's like, whatever, Buehler. I'm just going to hit a dinger. So you get out of there. It's important. It's an important thing that AJ brought up.
Yep. Good call. All right. We're swinging back. We're going to go over this article from The Athletic. We'll talk to Logan Evans coming up later in the show, Mariners starter, about his team's hot start. The Athletic put out an article saying which teams are charting a divided league's haves and have-nots. I'm going to explain the chart. I think it's important to leave the chart up for a minute. So put up the chart, and then I will go through what you're looking at. Category 1, powerhouses, green. Dot in the upper right corner of the screen, that's the Dodgers. It's not very difficult to determine that, they're setting the standard for trying and for spending and all of that. The Mets have actually outspent the Dodgers during the time period that they were looking at, 2022 to the 2025 seasons. But of course, the Dodgers have more success than the Mets. That's why you see the Mets lower on the totem pole, right? So you're taking the spending, which moves you to the right side, and the winning and losing, which moves you up and down. You've got the Yankees, Phillies, Padres, Astros, and Braves also in the powerhouse category. That's a word I use very often on this show. Overachievers. You've got a small group of teams that don't spend much but have a lot of winning. Baltimore, although that doesn't sound good right now. Milwaukee, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Cleveland. Then there's the basement, right? That's for teams that don't spend and don't win. Pittsburgh, Miami, the ATHs, the Nats, the White Sox, the Rockies, and the Royals are on here, right? The Royals just turned it around last year. Middle is a mix of all of this, and then the Angels are in a separate category from everyone else because they do actually spend. They just haven't seen wins and losses. What do you think of this chart? I thought it was cool. You like it, AJ?
I mean, yeah, it just shows you who the good teams are and who's not, who the good organizations are and who the good organizations aren't. It's pretty much what it boils down to, right? I mean, you can say whatever you want about spending money, but if you don't spend money the right way, you still don't win. And then you have organizations that have figured out certain things, like whether it's the Rays with what they do, the Brewers with what they do, the Guardians with what they do, and they're kind of the outliers, right? I mean, Baltimore, they just drafted really well the last couple of years and had all these prospects that worked out for them. So that's the thing they do really well. They've done really well up until this year, right? So I think this is interesting because the powerhouses are the ones that usually win. They're the ones, if you look at it, they're the ones that are winning, and they're the ones that we look in the standings today. They're usually at the top of the standings.
But that would say, oh, well, we have to have the salary cap then. Those teams can't spend that much, which I think it comes down to the organizations that build themselves from within, and when they do it, they add to it. They don't just buy their team from pieces from other teams. Like, look at the Astros are in there. The Braves are in there. Obviously, there's other 4 teams. They didn't really build it from within. There's a few on the Phillies. But to me, once you do that, you've saved up. Let's say it takes you 4 years to rebuild. You saved money during those years. You can use that money then once you have all the prospects. Baltimore.
That's right.
Yeah, but here's my thing. If you look at this, the teams, let's just look at the winning percentage, right? Dodgers, Atlanta, Houston, Philly, Yankees, Mets, San Diego, okay, are all above 550 on this chart, right? And then you look at the overachievers, Tampa Bay, again, Seattle, Milwaukee. Seattle has a generational rotation. Milwaukee was blessed for years. They're kind of come back down to reality. Cleveland knows something about pitching that no one else does. Tampa does their thing, and Baltimore had those great prospects. But then when you get, to me, the ones that stand out more, forget the salary cap. Why do we need a salary cap if we don't have a salary floor? Athletics, White Sox, Colorado, even though Colorado does spend a little bit, Washington, KC, Miami, and Pittsburgh. Guess who doesn't win? The teams that don't spend money and they trade away all their players because they think they're smarter or whatever. They want to save money. Those are the teams that don't win. I'm sorry. That's what happens, right? When Washington won in 2019, what did they have? Strasburg, Scherzer, Corbin, right? Zimmerman was there on a long-term deal. Jason Worth, Trey Turner, Anthony Rendon when he wanted to play, right? Like, these were all guys that were making money and they had a bigger payroll. They've gone into this mode since trading Soto, and they haven't spent back to get. They were the team I said this offseason should go out and get some guys. They didn't really do it, and look, they're stuck in the middle again. They're stuck down at the bottom. So it goes hand in hand. You get the prospects, then you got to go spend to finish it off like the Cubs did, the Astros did. All these teams did that went through these long rebuilds. You got to spend at the end to get over the top. They're not doing it.
The middle helps me out a lot too, because you see some teams where you're like, they should be pushed a little more to the right side here. I mean, we've talked about the Cubs a lot. How about the Giants? That's a big market. Now they're the only ones in that market. No,
That was a different group. That was a different group. To me, the ones that stick out there: Cardinals, Cubs, and Giants. The Giants had a different, like, Farhan Zaidi was running the front office. Maybe he tried to nickel and dime. Maybe they missed out on if they had the prospect or had Judge or had Correa. Yes, they would have bumped them up in payroll. But to me, those three teams out of that middle are the ones that should be pushing the upper limit. They should be going farther to the right on their payroll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very interesting list there. All right, we're going to get ready for Logan Evans. Mariners starter is going to join us coming up in a few minutes on FT. Be right back. AJ, you missed the announcement yesterday, so I'd like to let you know that foulterritoryshop.com is juiced up with many more options. Look at the shirts. We had our first Fair Territory purchases ever. Shout out to Brian and Rudolph, who both made some purchases yesterday. Variety of hats, beanies. You can run through all of the different cups where you can sip whatever drink you love. 7 choices in total. And accessories. Some fun bags in there, AJ. The foulterritoryshop.com list is much longer. What do you think?
We got quarter zips in there? Was there a quarter zip in there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then we good. I'm going to need a quarter zip. I mean, I might get it 6 months from now, but I need one.
Who's going to be the general manager that wears it? Who's the most general manager-y on the show, because only general managers can wear the quarter zips?
Jim Bowden.
No, it's beneath him.
Yeah, Jim needs something in Gucci. We need that John in Gucci or a Lou.
What's a Lou? Is that aloe? You mean ALO? Aloe?
Oh, is it aloe? There you go.
Yeah.
That's me.
I only know foulterritoryshop.com. That's what I wear. 6 months? I think we can get it for you a little quicker. There's the OG t-shirt.
I'm still wearing my original hat and t-shirt from like 2.5 years ago, so I figured at some point I might be able to get a new one, but it hadn't worked out.
It just means it's hot.
Sorry, the site just got updated for you. Harsh critic here. We just gave you all of the options that you want. Are we missing anything? Is there anything else? I'm working on getting a sleeveless shirt because I know you want to wear sleeveless shirts like McAfee on the show every day. So I'm working on that one for you too.
That's not what I would wear. I don't wear that. Today when I go surfing in my new boat, though, I might wear a no sleeve.
Hey, there you go. Okay, so we'll work on that. Some thinner.
Shout out Nautique.
You have one of those cool boats where you like surf behind. It makes a wave and you surf behind it.
Of course, brand new.
That's
just
cool.
got it today. Got it this morning. Picked it up. They delivered it this morning. Yep.
Whoa.
It's the best day. The 2 best days of owning a boat: the first day and the last day.
Not true. Not on a lake. Not true.
Yeah, you live
There's
on
a lot
lake,
of good
so
times in between. A lot of good times.
like
a lot of good times.
going out and playing in your yard. You live on a lake, so you're right there.
Kratz might have watched the movie Perfect Storm too many times.
You got gators in that pond.
All right, we're back. So let's talk Mariners pitching staff for a few minutes and the team in general before we get Logan Evans on the show. George Kirby makes his season debut tonight. We covered it yesterday, AJ, but this is going to help.
Oh, George Kirby. Now, if they get Gilbert back, they need their 5. They used only 6 last year, I think it was, and it was mainly those 5 starters. So they need those guys back. Kirby's definitely going to help. He's pitching at Houston tonight, or versus Houston tonight. So he had 3 rehab starts. He's been out for a while, though. He's been out for 3 months, so basically since the beginning of spring training. So welcome back, George Kirby. I hope you stay healthy because the Mariners, they're built on pitching.
Hey, I don't want to make everything about velocity for performance, but when it comes to health, I think it helps a lot. And Kratz, the velo for Kirby in his rehab assignment, last start or two, let's see, 96, which is where he sits. So that's a good sign. You're seeing at least the velo there. Jumping into a season is not always easy, but for a guy that's got the command and control down pat, I would expect some instant success.
For sure. But if he gives up a hit or gives up multiple hits, his velocity was down half a mile per hour. It doesn't seem like a lot, but in the big leagues, it's a big deal. Like, this is a dude that can pitch, and I trust guys who are able to pitch to be able to come back and kind of like fight through that rust a little bit, fight through getting back on a big league mound, which is way different than rehab games.
Hey, I've got a question for you guys that was getting kicked around in the chat earlier. You can pick any pitcher in Major League Baseball right now, this season, to start game 1 of the World Series for your team. Who is it?
Skubal. I mean, that's the easiest choice of all time right now. Skubal. Left-handed, negates lefties, throws strikes, go deep in the game, gets punch-outs. I mean, he has fun, and he'll talk trash to you. So, Skubal. Not even like tough choice at all.
Yamamoto's pitching like you'd want him to, but Yamamoto doesn't have that hardware like Skubal does. Hunter Brown, yeah, obviously he's doing well, but right now I don't see how you could go against Skubal. I know he had 2 outings recently where he gave up runs, but you remember it because that's rare.
Who would be number 2? Then it gets more interesting, right?
The way Yamamoto's pitching, I really like the way Yamamoto's pitching. He's locating his fastball, which makes that splitter out of the zone. The one game where he got hit against the Diamondbacks, I know it's in the division, but he wasn't locating the fastball. He wasn't getting the calls when he was pinpointing it. And then they were laying off the splitter, and then he had to come into the zone a little bit. I mean, he only gave up 2 home runs. It wasn't like they waylaid him that game.
Here's an interesting name for you right now because he's healthy. Is Jacob deGrom.
Ooh.
Because he's healthy right now. He's healthy right now. Now, a week from now, we don't know. Right now, Jacob deGrom is throwing the ball about as good as he's thrown it in a while. So, I don't know. Another guy, I know he's losing 1-0 to the Yankees, but big game Nate would be tough too. If I got to win one game, Nate Eovaldi is high on my list.
He's got the track record for sure. I mean, another guy that's pitching really well in the National League right now, he'd probably be second in the Cy Young, Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler has done it. I thought this was the year that he's going to win the Cy Young, but obviously Yamamoto's popping up. But Zach Wheeler just consistently goes out and gives you 7 innings. What did he have last year? Like 19 swings and misses in game 1, the game that they lost to the Mets. Might even been more than 19. It was crazy.
Those are good names. And yeah, track record matters for this topic because ideally, AJ, I would like a guy that's pitched in the playoffs before. I mean,
that's
now
why you don't bring up a Skeens. That's why like a Skeens doesn't fit here because he hasn't done it. You know, I need to see him. Even like let's use a Garrett Crochet. He did pitch in the playoffs his first year, but I'm talking like after 30 starts, then another month of starts in the playoffs, and then get me there. Like who do I trust that can make that start? Skubal did it last year, right? I've seen him do it. He pitched great. He basically was the only starter the Tigers had last year, and they won. They beat the Astros and went to the second round. Now they flamed out against the Guardians, but still, it was an incredible run for him, right? That's the guys I want to see. Eovaldi's done it for years. Oh, the Rangers need to win a big game? Guess who'll do it? Eovaldi, right? We've seen deGrom do it. We've seen him do it before. I don't know. I like to see guys that have done it.
Yeah, let's bring this question to our guest. Logan Evans, Mariners starter, joining us right now on FT. Logan, great to have you on. Love the field shot. And first off, how you doing? But I got a good question right off the jump here that we're debating. But what's up, man?
Thank you for having me. Sorry, it's a little loud out here. They're doing some stuff on the field. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, we got you good. We got you
perfect.
good. So I'm going to hit you with one right off the jump here. You can't pick one of your teammates, although actually it would be a difficult call. Game 1 starter in the World Series for you, a current MLB pitcher, right? And he's pitching the way he's pitching right now. Who would you choose?
I'm going to let this guy pass here. He's doing a little bit of work.
Tell that guy to
My,
stop.
my,
Tell him, you need to just go out there and say, listen, stop. I'm doing an interview. Stop.
yeah, I wish I could. Unfortunately, I can't. But I would definitely choose Jacob deGrom. I got to pitch against him over there in Texas, and he's looking like his old self. I mean, electric fastball, and obviously, paired with that 90-mile-per-hour slider is just it's amazing. And the fact that he can pinpoint control that too is just incredible.
What does that look like when you don't have much dirt in your cleats yet in the big leagues, but when you're sitting in the dugout watching him pitch, does it look different, or are you just building up the name Jacob deGrom thinking this dude throws a billion? It's got to look different.
Yeah, it definitely looks different. You can tell by the hitters' swings and just their reaction, especially when they come back and they're talking about that ride, and it just hops on you, and then you see the swings he gets on the sliders is just he's making the best hitters in the world just look stupid. So you can definitely tell from the dugout for sure.
Logan, how's life for you right now in the big leagues? What's it been like this season for you individually, and then with the Mariners team that's off to a really good start?
Individually, it's been amazing. I'm just super grateful for each and every day. I'm trying to take it in and really just
Phone call.
with what I've so far. It's just taken everything, good or bad, and learn from it. And then with the team right now, we're rolling, and we're going to take each game at a time, and whether it's good or bad, I think there's a lot of fight in this team, and you can see that not only from the pitching staff but also the hitters. Having the best catcher in the world helps. Having an all-star center fielder and surrounded by so many great players, it's awesome. But the leadership on this team, not only by example of their play on the field, but their vocal leadership into the clubhouse is amazing. So everything's going great right now.
Okay, essentially last year was your only year in the minor leagues with the Mariners. You're obviously always looking up at the big league team. It's everything. They used 6 pitchers last year. As a starting pitcher in the minor leagues, do you guys look at that and go, crap, ain't none of us ever getting up to the big leagues because all those dudes do is just make their starts?
Yeah, I didn't really focus on that, like I just was watching their greatness and taking it all in. But like I said, I didn't really focus on it too much. I just was trying to do exactly what I do every day, and that's get my work in, take each day one day at a time, and try to get better. Whatever it is, sometimes it's maybe on the mound, sometimes it's just refining my routine to help me get ready throughout the week. So last year, yeah, like you said, they only used 6 pitchers, but those 6 pitchers were really, really good. So it was cool to watch.
Logan, what did the Mariners teach you once you signed? Because you were drafted in 23. Here you are pitching in the big leagues at 2025. You're a 12th round pick. It's like you're a first pick, top 10 pick in the draft. I mean, you were a later round pick. So what did the Mariners tell you once you got there in that 1 year of minor league experience they had? What was their thing that they focused on and said, Logan, this is how we're going to get you to the big leagues quickly?
Yeah, we talk about it a lot, and I'm sure you guys have heard of this, but we talk about winning the 0-0 and the 1-1 counts. And realistically, for me, they taught that to me, but also it just helped me simplify the game. I feel like I've had all these little bits of puzzle pieces and just put them into place, but I could never fit in that big one. And realistically, for me, it was just, like I said, simplifying the game. And that's really what they taught me. They gave me a few different pitch grips. I started to throw the sweeper and started to throw a curveball because they saw something with the way I threw my slider in college. I did that, and then I started to gain confidence, and then realized hitters are good when they're in advantage counts, but they're not good when you get ahead of them. And I try to do that every single time, and I think that's not only my identity but our entire staff's identity. So yeah, it wasn't anything crazy. It was just that they taught me to really simplify the game, boil it down.
Wait, they didn't tell you, hey, look, you got to throw way harder than you do because nobody has any success in the big leagues without throwing 97 to 99.
Yeah, no, it did help that they gave me a velocity program to use. All right, I'm gonna let him pass again.
Stop him. Stop him. Tell him to stop.
Wait, I have a
Stop.
question while this is happening.
But
Why? How many
I don't
years?
know
Wait,
why
real
they
quick.
keep
How many
driving
years?
past me.
But I want to know, AJ, how many years does Logan have
Now.
to register in the league to be able to say, buddy, 10 minutes
Now.
interview?
No. He'll get a big respect card if he goes out there and tells that grounds crew, listen, you know what you tell him, Logan, next time he comes by? The guy I'm doing an interview with has been on the train with Bobby Dynamite. He needs quiet on the set, okay? And he'll stop, I promise
Yeah.
you.
I thought I gave him the look the first time, like, hey, maybe could you help me out here? And like, I don't think he got the gist at all. But I know that was his last pass, so I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
No, you're good.
But
You're
back
good.
to the question, yeah, they did tell me to throw harder, and I did start to throw harder last year. My velo has been down a little bit this year, but it's also because I think I'm using so many of my different pitches that my body might be moving a little differently. I'm hoping that comes the later I get into the season and the warmer weather. It's been a little tough throwing in the 40 to 50 degree weather every time. Throwing in Chicago yesterday, it was pretty cold and rainy. But yeah, I think that, I mean, it's pretty obvious. If you throw harder, you'll have more success. You just got to be able to locate it.
Yeah, but you're used to the cold. You're used to the cold. You went
Yeah.
Penn State. You're from Michigan, right? Or did you grow up in Michigan, or were you just born in Michigan?
Yeah, I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay. So then you went to Penn State, and then you went to Pitt. Tell me about that transition, because you are kind of like the first generation transfer portal kids that were going through the whole COVID stuff. AJ and I both have sons that are starting college next year. How was that? Because being from Michigan, you might not know, but Penn State and Pitt, while they're in the same state, I don't really think they're a rival. They may go after the same players, but I don't really think they're rivals. How is that transfer and transition to another school in your hopeful pursuit of making the big leagues?
Yeah, it was definitely an experience. Like you said, they're not really like too big of rivals, especially on the baseball side. Um, but it was cool to experience both Big Ten college, which I grew up on growing up in Ann Arbor. I grew up right around that University of Michigan. So it was kind of a similar vibe. And then the back half, when I hit the transfer portal going to Pitt, it was cool because I got to experience what it's like to be in a city and live that lifestyle. So I think it honestly helped me transition into what I'm doing now, traveling city to city, learning how to live, what the speed of it is going to be like, all of that. But yeah, it is kind of weird that you mentioned that because I never had really thought about that. I'm like the first of the transfer portal babies, I guess you'd say. Uh, but I think it worked out. I think it also has its pros and cons. I don't love the transfer portal, but um, I did utilize it. Obviously, I think it helped me in the long run of the transit periods from moving up to teams and getting drafted and all that stuff.
Uh-oh, someone's talking to you now. Be careful. All right, forget the baseball side of it, right? Like I don't, Pitt to Penn State, who cares? They both suck at baseball. All right, they suck.
Oof.
Okay, no offense. But let me ask you this:
That's a tough thing, but yeah.
What's it like? What's it like being from Ann Arbor and going to Penn State? Like, let's talk football here. Like, let's not talk baseball. Let's talk football. Like when Michigan comes to Penn State, are you in the whiteout and you're rooting for Penn State over your hometown Wolverines? Like that's where your family's got to get a little mad at you, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I actually, funny enough, I grew up a Michigan State fan. So
Oh,
my dad went to Michigan State. Yeah, it was already a tough lifestyle growing up in Ann Arbor being a Michigan State fan. But then, like you said, I committed to Penn State out of high school and went there. And it's been a huge rivalry for me every single year. My cousin went to Michigan. All my best friends grew up Michigan fans. So we get into it every year. Um, I wish that we got to face them this past year because we had a really good football team. Um,
Okay.
A dramatic pause.
I think I pressed the abort football button and it worked.
Dyken Park needs to get that MLB Wi-Fi going down there. Maybe the guy who drove by on his scooter, on his little gator that he drives there in Houston,
Unplugged
cut
the
him
cord.
off. Orbit got him. Orbit got him.
He's on that visiting park Wi-Fi, and maybe that's why also the grounds crew dude who's driving whatever looked over at him like, visiting dugout, not listening to him. I'm actually going to drive over again during his little phone call that he's on.
Orbit.
Hey,
It was Orbit.
grounds crew guys, they can have some arrogance. Minor league grounds crew guy over at the Yankees, when we were in the minor leagues, they used to spray that reclaimed water on the field. And I remember walking in and one dude goes, "Oh man, the water, it smells like sulfur. Like, oh, that water smells like poop." And the dude goes, he shuts the water off. He goes, "It's the smell of 26 world championships." Turns the water back on and starts spraying it. It was a very arrogant move by grounds crew guy.
And he'd been there for all of them?
I don't think so.
Doubt that. I doubt that.
He was not
Most
that. He was
groundskeepers
not
are,
that.
most groundskeepers are pretty cool, actually, to me. The ones I've gotten to know over the years have been pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're for the team. They're for the home team, for sure.
Yeah.
So he would definitely not turn anything off for the visiting team.
By the way, and speaking of football, like Pitt and Penn State, you would think they'd be rivals in football. Like, I mean, forget Michigan,
Not.
but I know,
Pitt's
like
Pitt's
Pitt
not been
comes
that
down to
good.
Florida. Pitt comes down to Florida and steals like some baseball recruits every year because they have a guy that used to be at Florida State. And they just haven't been very good for a while. I don't know why. It's hard to figure out.
Tough. Devin Mesoraco, remember that name? He's helping coach at Pitt. It's a tough recruit up there. It's like, hey, you want to play in February in PA?
Yeah,
They gotta
that's
give him
tough.
money.
Yep. Got to pay for it. Oh,
Oh, wow.
look at that.
Whoa.
Wow.
I'm back.
Hey,
my phone literally
that was
got
my stats
overheated
guy.
here in Houston.
That was my stats guy once.
Really?
Yeah, tell AJ I said what's up.
He says
Yeah.
what's up.
There you
He
go.
actually
See?
just gave me a crazy stat. I don't even know if this has been released yet, but I
tell
guess
it.
I was the fastest 12th rounder to the majors since 2000. So
Ah.
that was cool.
Wow.
Yeah, he dug that out of the.
You were one day faster than infielder Kevin Franzen.
Yeah.
1 day faster.
Franny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
You can, you know what? With your quarter zip on, you can also become a broadcaster like Franny is now. So you learned well with the quarter zip. You can be a GM or you can be a broadcaster because that's what broadcasters love is quarter zips, much like GMs.
That's all I wear.
Isn't
Logan,
it
I feel like I
172 degrees though? It's 172 degrees in Houston right now, and you're wearing a quarter zip.
I know. 90 right now. It's like my phone literally was overheating. That's why I dropped from the call. So, yeah, I should have planned better. This is my first time. I'm still a rookie, obviously. So,
Wow.
I'll figure it out.
The phone overheated. Was the roof open?
Yeah, it's open, and it was getting toasty out there.
Oh, yeah. It gets real bad. Well, you won't have to deal with that. I'm sure it'll be closed the entire series. Kratz knows he played there.
Yeah, rookie mistake. That's okay. Rookie mistake.
Learn
You'll
on
make
the
more.
fly. Yeah, I'm sure I will, but I'll definitely learn from each one of them.
All right, I got one more for you on the way out. You've got some personalities on that team. J-Rod, Rosarena, Rowdy, and many others. Who would you say has the biggest personality? You can go wherever you want with this, whether it's they're the loudest, the funniest, whatever, right? From what you've experienced so far, there are some very notable names in that category with your current team.
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. I think I'm gonna go with Rowdy. I know you just said that his name. Like you said, the two previous to that, Julio, Randy, even JP, like they got such great personalities. But Rowdy, like he's just veteran guy, always talking smack, not only to the players but the umpires. He's just a funny dude, and he keeps the clubhouse light. Each and every day he shows up, there's the same Rowdy. Loves to do his thing. But super cool. Like when you get to talk to him one-on-one, he just shares experiences and all these lessons that he's learned. And He's not afraid to pass him down. So I think that's going to be my choice.
Rowdy's a good friend of the show too. He's been a regular since we started. What is your song? You're a rookie. What song are you going to sing on the bus? Have you figured it out?
I sang Shabuzi. I sang the Shabuzi song. And then I got another one coming up here. They're going to send me a song to sing, so I got to learn the lyrics, but I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be. But I don't think the second one will be my last one either, so I got plenty of songs. But the Shabuzi one was kind of a hit the first time, so we'll see.
Well done.
It's going to be a great album, the Logan Evans rookie album. I can't wait for it. Just around Christmas time, they'll put it all on a nice old CD. Logan, great to have you on, man. Thanks for the time. This was awesome. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Appreciate you. Yeah. FT fam, we'll be right back. BetMGM, free game of the day. You get one almost every day when you're streaming it on the BetMGM app and you're a BetMGM customer logged in with a funded account. Tonight's game, Braves versus Nationals, 6:45 Eastern time. Remix didn't happen yesterday, so let's make it happen today. We've already had one rain out today in Boston. Yesterday, I tried to place a bet in that very game that I just talked about. Didn't happen, so you'll get Smith Shawver against Trevor Williams tonight. Todd Father lost with his Boston pick. Kratz won. Yankees struck out 10+. There you go, Kratz. Updated money bags. Everybody's up except for Kratz. Kratz trying to work his way back. Maybe we can talk him into a big money bet at some point. And I will go first because my bet's super easy. Just watch back yesterday's show and look at how I placed Trevor Williams over 2.5 runs with the Braves offense playing well lately and trying to come off a loss against the Nats and them hitting Trevor Williams last time around. Add it all up, and I actually got better odds for today's bet. Yesterday, I think it was in the 120 range. Today, it's at -105 for whatever reason. I'll throw down 210 to win 200. AJ, you're up next.
I'm doing kind of a different one. Ryan McMahon today for the Rockies. I know he plays for the Rockies, but he hits Ranger Suarez really well. So 4 for 10 with a homer, I think, and a double and a bunch of RBI. So I'm going him over 1 hit, run, RBI, and then I'm taking Baltimore versus Boston over 8 runs, and that gets me to +294.
Nice. Okay. Is it total bases, hits, run, and RBI? All any of those?
All those, yes. Total bases, all that thing. I think that's what it is.
Okay, I'm gonna review that one.
Now you got me confused, Scott. Now I got to go to my BetMGM app and look and see what I wrote down. So let me see.
Please do.
Ryan McMahon, total hits, runs, and RBIs. So it's hits, runs, and RBIs.
No bases, just hits, runs, and RBIs. That makes sense.
So I'm gonna, they're playing in Colorado at 310, I think it is, and I think Ryan McMahon will probably hit a single and drive somebody in, and there's the over.
You can hit that John in 1AB.
But I was thinking about Schwarber versus Marquez, but his was 2.5. That's a little tougher.
Yeah, Schwarber RBI knock would not get that done. Not that he hits many singles.
No.
All right, we'll do the rest of them. Yeah, exactly. Dingers. We'll do the rest of them. Kratz's pick coming up. A little quickie better than box scores. We continue to give love to the best record in baseball right now. They took down the Cardinals yesterday. And hey, that's a Cardinals team that's playing good ball. We had a good debate for a while, AJ, with Kratz and myself the other day about the legitimacy of the Cardinals as playoff contenders this year. But you're at least running into the hottest team in the National League, and the Tigers are getting the job done here. So for the first time since 2006, they have the best record through 50 games. They're cruising, although it's not going to be easy because that looks like a top 3 division in baseball as far as record. You've got 4 teams that are going to be contending for a playoff spot. But what do you think about the Tigers? And then if you want to drop some thoughts on the Cardinals too, AJ, I was saying how I think that they're going to likely hang around. And if so, buy at the trade deadline. Kratz, I guess you can give your quick take before AJ decides who was right and wrong.
Do I have to wait?
No.
On AJ?
No, give him the context first. I think AJ wasn't paying attention to the show the other day. He was watching the Florida State title.
Oh, I mean, it's a matter of, are the Cardinals going to be able to hit and stay in it, or because they have no juice, but they're leading in on base percentage. And I said, no, they're not going to stay in it. Scott said, yeah, they are going to stay in it.
I think they'll stay in it because of the division they're in. I think that's why. I think they'll stay in it because of the division they're in. By the way, 2006 Tigers lost to the Cardinals in the World Series. And the 83 win Cardinals, by the way. But the Tigers that year, that was when the whole there's too much rest started. Because remember, they couldn't do a PFP. Fernando Rodney threw like 4 balls away, and they were messing up PFPs left and right.
Verlander.
So Verlander, that was when the whole, we had too much time off whole thing started. So the 2006 Tigers, they leave a bad taste in my mouth. Plus, we won 90-something games with the White Sox that year and didn't make the playoffs. We finished in 3rd place in our division after winning the World Series the year before. So,
Didn't that happen in 2012 when the Giants won? Didn't the Tigers have a long break? Or am I off on that?
Yeah, the Giants swept them, I think. And
they swept them for sure.
The Cardinals, I think, won in 5 in 06. They were the least amount of wins, I think, they ever to win the World Series. They 83 wins. They snuck in, and wasn't that the Adam Wainwright, Carlos Beltran curveball year, and then and the catch by the lefty over the wall on Yachty. Remember
Andy Chavez,
right? Like that was a quirky year, and then the Cardinals get to the World Series, and it was like Tigers are going to smash them, and Cardinals whooped them.
Mm-hmm. It's weird when we're talking about a 2006 World Series and playoff run, and I feel like we kind of sound like the old guys now. 2006 was almost 20 years ago, but it feels like yesterday. Anyway, thoughts on the Tigers here? Do you think that they're the best team in the American League?
Right now, yes. If their pitching stays healthy, yes. If Skubal and Flaherty stay good and their bullpen guys stay healthy, I think they are, because A.J. Hinch knows how to maneuver the bullpen. And if you get Javi Baez to continue to play the way he is, and I mean, yes, they can be for sure. They're confident. The thing about the Tigers this year is they know they can do it now because they did it last year. So that brings a whole different element to your team.
Yeah, they have a rotation this year. Bullpen should be close to just as good. Lineup should be much better with Baez and Torkelson not really a big part of last year's team. And they've got like 3 or 4 outfielders on the injured list too. I was listening to Scott Harris, who runs the front office, the other day, mentioned that it'll obviously help with depth, but the guys on the shelf are pretty good athletes too and should help the defense as well. Meadows, Wenzel Perez, and I'm missing one other that are still out. Is it Buehler? No. Somebody else is still out.
Matt Buehling's out.
It is Buehler. Okay. So
Rogers is out too. Out. Jake Rogers.
And Jake Rogers. That's big.
He just got back. Yep.
Yeah. But he'd been out for a good chunk of the year too. And obviously Dingler had been playing well, but Jake Rogers is a pretty damn good catcher.
I need to watch more Tigers games, like start to finish. But it feels like, and maybe this is Benetti giving me some, really pumping the Tigers up. But it just seems like they make these, like the defense makes plays that night in and night out that are huge defensive plays. I get it. They have really good pitching. But normally, behind really good pitching is really good defense. And it just feels like these guys that you don't even are, realizing who's playing what position for them. Because you think, okay, Parker Meadows should be in center. Nope, Javi Baez. He's going out making big plays. You have a guy in Cole Keith who moved over to first base, new position. Guys are making plays for this team, and it just seems like, I shouldn't say it seems like their defense is really good without looking the numbers up or watching them day in and day out, but the team's winning. That's the name of the game in the show. Win ball games.
Yeah, they're pretty technically sound. I love Kerry Carpenter too. They're starting to strategize against him late in games with, which reliever they're bringing in, kind of game planning around him. So it's a cool team. It's a fun team to watch right now. It's clicking for them. Tiger Territory talks about this team 3 times a week. Check out the pod wherever you get your pods. And also, you can check out Austin Jackson, as well as Cody and Kieran, your main hosts. But Ajax making weekly appearances, going over what the Tigers are bringing to the table. Coming up next, I want to spend a few minutes during slap time on a funny security incident in Colorado. One more BetMGM lock coming from Kratz. Kratz, you cooking up a parlay today?
I do have a nice little parlay, and it is I'm going to the Braves game. Smith-Shawver has hit over 4.5 Ks in all of his games, so I'm going over, and I'm going under 5.5 with Tanner Bybee, and that is coming out at plus 170. I'm putting 100 down to win 170. And no, I'm not going to go big like the rest of the boys have done. I'm going to try to get myself back in the green, and this is the first step in the right direction.
Just 100 to win 170?
100 to win 170.
Okay, bud.
For the people. For the people.
Yeah, for the people. By the way, who's Bybee facing?
The Tigers.
The Tigres.
Okay.
By the way, Baltimore and Boston have been rained out, so that changes my bet, but we're still going to go with it.
Right, so that'll dumb down the bet. You'll be at
It gets to plus 110, so I'm plus 110 now, and just McMahon.
Okay. There you go. Good luck on your little locks tonight, and you can get in on the excitement of what BetMGM's bringing with their no sweat token. Get your stake back in bonus bets. If you're going outside of baseball, that's okay. The Knicks and Pacers had a pretty cool, entertaining affair yesterday as well. I'm in New York, so they're feeling a little hungover today, some peeps. But anyway, if you don't win your wager, you got to stake back in bonus bets. BetMGM.com or sign up on the app. Use the promo code FOUL if you want to get a little extra action there too. And we'll be right back. FT fam. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Security. We have an intruder in Denver. Let's slap security issue in Colorado for the Phillies. Let's show you the tweet from Matt Gelb, writes for The Athletic, said an all-time moment this morning at Coors Field. Johan Rojas, member of the Phillies, went into the stands to make a phone call. Security guards would not let Rojas back onto the field. They did not believe he was a player. He's like, I'm a player. I don't believe you. Zach Wheeler, who I guess they do believe, had to go get him. And Gelb finishes the tweet by saying, Rockies forever. Tough year in Denver.
8-41. 8-41. Just that's it. That's all I gotta say. Is just 8-41. 8-41.
Security's not supposed to take L's like this.
Yeah, security's catching a stray. Probably. I mean, you've heard of other guys. Didn't Pedroia get denied at the security one time coming through to the stadium? I don't remember. I know I've heard stories of dudes that get stopped. Normally, they're a little bit more of the slight figures. Zach Wheeler, that dude's he was also probably on the field going, Yeah, he's a player. Oh, a player is calling you? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, you're at the club and you're like, yeah, he can come in. Let him through. I have a quick Phillies question for you, Kratz, from a fan who asked us this on Instagram in the past 24 hours. Gave us a little question on a DM. Why can't the Phils get Sosa into an everyday role, even at a different position every night? He brings so much to the team, especially with his swing and miss down this year.
I mean, they're trying. Topper's trying. We'll ask him when we bring him on the show soon. Topper's trying. Like, he is playing in left field. And that was kind of, there was a nice highlight, and then there was a low light too. You can't just throw guys in any position. He could be a Gold Glove infielder. Where's he going to play? Stott? Had Stott started out really slow, maybe with Sosa's hot bat, yes. Not going to take Turner's spot, not taking Harper's spot. Alec Bohm is a 97 RBI guy back-to-back years. Just not a lot of spots. It's tough. It's a great piece to have for when those guys need days off and they go down.
Yeah, the team's been healthy too. I mean, injuries pop up. Somebody's going to hit the shelf, even if it's for the short term, and then he'll rack up consistent playing time again. He'll probably still end up with how many plate appearances?
350.
450? 350. Okay.
350.
Overexposure.
That could be a thing.
Careful.
Purple.
All right, we're back. Kratz Hatz, what do you have? And while you're doing that, I'm going to look for one magical question from the crowd.
Rail Riders, but another Memorial Day hat. I mean, start celebrating early. It's Thursday. Take a half day Friday. Listen to FT. Get your Memorial Day weekend started right.
You guys have plans, by the way? Anything special?
Down the
We're just
shore.
having a party. We're having a party for the boys that won this weekend or yesterday.
Oh, nice.
At your house?
There you go.
Yeah, so we're having a big party at our house. And also, by the way, we didn't get to it, but Spurs, everyone says they suck. Big trophy win for them yesterday. Won the Europa League, so all the Spurs
not this year.
people that say the trophies don't win trophies, they won a trophy yesterday. A big one, too.
Big
So
day
cool.
for the Pierzynski house yesterday. A lot of
Well, yeah,
trophies.
Big day yesterday.
Hey, he recently got the YouTube trophy in the studio too, and we're working on more. I mean, 174K. Thanks to all the new FT fam listeners, watchers, everybody out there. We'll take it. We're flying. Apparently a hundo makes you look a little cooler, but we'll take it. Thank you, algorithm, for giving us more love domestically and globally. Globally, we love our fans across the world. So 174K. I mean, at this rate, we're going big, you know? Life's not all about numbers, but they don't hurt. We got one more show before Memorial Day. We'll see everyone tomorrow for Frazier Friday. Oh, Ryan Walker, Giants reliever tomorrow on the show. Ken Rosenthal as well.